I'm Nick. This talk is about architecture, and I want to make an important distinction. I think we can all agree this is a pretty good-looking house. This talk is not about good-looking houses. It's about the opposite of that. So, like I said, I'm a fourth-year CS major, and one thing I like to do with some of my time is browse memes. And I'm here to tell you about the spiciest source of memes that I know of. That is Kate Wagner's blog, McMansion Hell. Kate Wagner complains about these ugly houses that she dubs McMansions, like pointing out the column that goes through the garage roof in the corner. But you may be wondering, what the hell is a McMansion? A McMansion is a term used for an oversized house, usually like 3,000 plus square feet, made as cheaply as possible from wildly different materials, and most importantly for us, they are badly designed. And so, but what is it that makes these houses look so ugly? They exist for the sole purpose of conveying wealth. They don't exist to actually look good. And you look at it, you're like, wow, it's a big house, but it just starts to look like something is deeply wrong the more you look at it. And the reason for this is they're designed from the inside out. So the first casualty of that fact is the roofline. It just makes no sense. There's different parts at different angles and different heights, and it just becomes this jumbled mess. And sometimes you have a room where someone's like, you know what, I want this second-story room to be slightly higher than the rest of the rooms in the second-story. So you get this like nub that sticks up, outside of the regular roofline. So that's another clear sign that you're probably looking at a McMansion. But you also often see a lot of different cheap materials that don't actually go well together, like this terribly painted stucco on the brick, and then the like white on the side. It just doesn't really work. Also, mommy garage, baby garages. They also often will abuse dormers and features like this, like these way out of proportion dormers on the top, or maybe they just don't have the right number. Like, this is a beautiful house, but it's a cyclops. But my personal favorite feature is what's dubbed the Pringles can of shame. And it's this big entryway. It's like 2 stories. We have an oversized turret, and there's like a spiral staircase and a chandelier in the middle, and they throw in, for good measure, windows that don't match. Some people take it really seriously. Count them all. There's 4 on the front of this house. But the most stressful part of this house is if I have to visit you and you live in this house, I have to stop in the driveway and call you and say, which door do I go to? This is actually the back of that house. It's even better. There are 6 Pringles cans on the back. Now, it's not always the entire house that looks so bad. Maybe it's just one overwhelming feature. Like, may I present the triple decker? I don't even know what to say. Like, maybe you have 3 groups of people that all hate each other and they all want to hang out on the porch. I don't know. So another really common feature is a very stereotypical entryway. You may have these columns that hold up this oversized pediment, and there's going to be a really big door, beyond which there's a 2-story entryway, and on top of the big door you need a really big window. And it's got like a flat bottom to match the door, and then there's a curved top, and this window shows up everywhere in the McMansion. That window did not exist architecturally before the invention of the McMansion in the 80s. The McMansion invented that window. And you can see that window in this house. Let's not be too mean on this house. This photo was actually just taken on a bad day. It was Halloween, and it was dressed as a witch. Now, it's a lot of fun to make fun of these houses, but there's a deeper point here, which is that when we start to notice what we dislike about ugly houses, that's when we start to realize what we find is beautiful about the houses that we actually like. For example, in a sec. This is a badass house. I love this house. And for a long time, I wouldn't have been able to understand why I like looking at that house so much until I started to look at houses that I think are just really ugly. And I realized that none of those features exist on this house. That's sort of the problem with good design. You don't really notice good design, like the door on the right where you can just press it and you know what to do, until you see bad design everywhere, like a door that you need a sign that tells you how to use the door. And so I think that making fun of McMansions, in a way, can help us appreciate what we like about the beautiful houses in the world and make the world a little bit more beautiful. Or at the very least, maybe we can stop building more McMansions. Thank you.